Guys, because of recent events in our county and surrounding counties, we wanted to talk to you today about how important school safety is. So the Sheriff Barker is going to come up and he's going to talk to you all. You all need to listen. This is very important, okay? Our number one rule here is to keep you all safe. And so we're just going to go over a few things that you all really need to know, okay? So Sheriff Barker is going to talk to you all first.
Hang on here, guys. You might want to save your applause because I'm going to get really down to business with you guys. It's imperative that you understand what I'm saying. So I need everybody to sit up straight, eyeballs forward, no talking. Are we clear on that? Yes, sir. Excellent. So here's what you need to know. Through the past couple weeks, we've been dealing with threats of mass violence in schools. I know everybody knows about it. We've made 4 arrests. And I'm here to drive one message home, okay? It ain't gonna be tolerated. It will not be tolerated. Since I've been the sheriff for the last 6 years, we're batting 1,000. And what I mean by that is every time we've had a school threat, whether it be by phone, social media, paper, or whatever mechanism they use, we've caught them. The 4 we arrested last week went to Richard L. Bean, the juvenile detention facility. That is what we do with school threats. And again, we catch them every single time without a doubt. The issue is, and I get this because I wasn't born 54 and the sheriff. Some people think it's funny, some people think it's cute, but it's not. It is an incredible disruption in the education system. It is an incredible disruption at my office because I have to put men and women and resources towards investigating these things. On top of that, it creates panic amongst the student body and with your parents, because I take these phone calls every time we get these. And on Facebook, social media, and Instagram, I'm constantly answering questions. Is it safe? I have to reallocate my resources. I have to put officers where I normally wouldn't have them because somebody's done this. Now, keep in mind that we have, out of probably the dozen that we had during that time frame, the bulk of them were from out of state, not even intended for our school system, but to kind of say the post or the threat itself kind of went viral. So it ended up down here, but we still have to investigate those things. And here's what I'm telling you guys. We're going to hold you accountable. There ain't no 2 ways about it. It ain't fun. It ain't no joke. Because at Richard L. Bean, you don't pick what you wear. You don't pick when you go to sleep. You don't get to watch TV. It's by the numbers. And we put you over there in a blink of an eye. That's how serious we are about it. Guys, I'm all about second chances because Lord knows I've been given them in my life. And as young people, we're going to make some dumb decisions sometimes. But the truth of it is, when it comes to this particular topic, okay, I honestly do not care how long you sit over there. It means nothing to me. So what I'm telling you is this. If you know of someone who's planning on putting out a threat in any form or fashion, if you hear of one, if you see one on a post, don't share it, you report it. I don't care who you report it to. It can be an adult in your family. It could be somebody here at the school. It could be my office. It doesn't matter, but you need to report it. Because the faster I get on it, the faster my people can get it solved and put an end to it, put it into the disruption. Second thing is, do not buy into it. Don't think it's a game, because it's not. We have prosecuted kids or students for as little as just putting it on paper, not on social media, just putting it on paper. We had a case like that once. It's that serious, and you don't get away from it. So please know this is really adult type stuff that we're talking about, right? With real consequences. May not follow you around in your adult life, but I promise you it is going to upset the apple cart and disrupt what you got going on beyond belief. You really can't even imagine it. So I beg you, keep your head down, stay out of that nonsense. If you hear something, you let us know, okay? Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Tim Parrott. He'd like to say a few things to you as well.
Everybody knows who I am, right? Yes. And you know that my number one priority is to make sure you're safe. Our number one priority is to make sure you have a place you can come, you can learn, you don't have to be fearful of when you walk through these doors, you don't have to be fearful of who's going to come in on you. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to make sure our schools are safe. We have, through a great school system and through with the sheriff, as you know, we have SROs in every school. But here's the thing about it is, if we don't take this seriously, like Sheriff Barker said, and we think it's a joke, then all the stuff that we've done, all the stuff we've put together, it doesn't make you safe, it doesn't calm your parents' fears, and it doesn't make us as a community think that we run a safe school system. Now, here's the thing is, when you do something like that and you do this threat, it's going to be turned over to the district attorney and the sheriff's office to prosecute you. But that doesn't mean you're done with Anderson County Schools, because there's still discipline at the schools. And we treat this act of mass violence as a zero tolerance. So not only will you be in jail, you could be kicked out of school for a full year. That means you can't go to any more public schools for a year. That means that when you do that, your parents would have to put you in a private school. You can't go and just homeschool, because most of the time the juvenile judge doesn't allow that. So think about those things. And here's the thing that I do want you to understand is, every day we take safety. That's our top priority. On Tuesday, before all this stuff came about, there was about 280 students absent out of 6,000 students in Anderson County Schools. On Wednesday, because of all the uproar, there was almost 1,300 students out. When 1,300 students out, it's hard to have school. We wasted a whole day of school. On Thursday, we went back to normal. We had about 280, 290 students out of school. But here's what you need to know. We didn't change anything we did from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What it was about all of these threats and people putting them online. And I hope you remember what Sheriff Barker said. If somebody sends you and says, hey, here's a threat, and you send it on, you become part of the problem. You could be held accountable for that. So listen, you all are very smart students. I've seen you in your classroom. I've been here. I know you know what you know, right and wrong. Let's all work together to make sure Anderson County Schools is the safest place we can be, okay? So, if you hear something or you see something, tell somebody, all right? If you know somebody's hurting, if you know somebody had a bad day, somebody's getting bullied, and they may lash out and not mean what they say, but if we're going to take it seriously, talk to one of your counselors, talk to an adult, talk to your principal. We're all here to help you be successful adults, okay? Can you do that for me? Can you make sure that if you know something, you tell somebody? All right? Appreciate what you do each and every day. Now I'm going to introduce Mr. Dave Clark, he's our Attorney General.
Morning, guys. I appreciate the attention you're giving to the speakers today. This is really important. We wanted to take advantage of this opportunity because obviously there's some important things we needed to share with you. And at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is get information to you that you need to make good decisions for yourself. Everyone here is concerned about you. That's why we're here. Everyone in this room has dedicated their professional lives to helping you, whether that's to keep you safe or to make sure you get a good education. We're all here to help you, and we're concerned. We all have a little bit different perspective. Dr. Parrott comes from the education world, and he wants the school safe, and he wants you learning. Sheriff Barker is from the law enforcement world, and he wants you safe and to make sure that anyone that's doing harm to anyone in the community is brought to justice. My job is also as a law enforcement officer. I work for the state of Tennessee, and I prosecute all the crimes in this part of the state. Juvenile offenses and speeding tickets, all the way up to murder. And my attorneys are in court every day here in Anderson County prosecuting people for criminal behavior. My job is to keep you safe and to bring those responsible for not keeping you safe to justice. And what we have seen has alarmed us. Because of these threats, I want to tell you what that's like. Because you might see it from your perspective. Perhaps you've talked to your parents about it. Maybe you've seen it on TV, but here's what it looks like. The same kind of scenarios that you see have happened in Georgia or maybe in Nashville, Tennessee, where someone really does bring a gun to school and shoot and harm people. When we get a threat that someone is doing that here in Anderson County, it looks and sounds exactly like the real thing. When a phone call comes in, whether it's from a student or a teacher or a concerned citizen, and they say someone is going to shoot up the school, we all drop everything. Every police officer stops what they're doing and they run emergency traffic to get to this school to try and keep you safe. Everyone in my office drops what they're doing to try and find who did it and prosecute them. Everyone in the school, all of your parents are panicked. They want to get to the school and get you safe, get you home. So when one of these phone calls is made, we don't know if it's real or if it's fake, but we have to respond like it's real. And what they call that in the state of Tennessee is committing a terroristic threat. Terrorism. That's a big word. We think of that happening in foreign countries or big cities. But when someone makes a threat of school violence, that's what is created. It puts people in terror, including students. The threats that we have had here in Anderson County, they're not coming from a foreign country or a faraway state or a big city. They're not coming from adults. They're coming from students. And mostly, they're coming from middle school students. Our concern is that students like you in schools like this here in Anderson County don't understand what a phone call like that might do, what a social media post like that might do, what saying that to a classmate might do. It creates terror. And that's committing a crime against our community, against your teachers, your parents, and all of you. Some of you may be afraid. That would be understandable. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're all here to protect you. We don't want you to be afraid. We don't want our community to be afraid or our parents to be afraid. You should be safe when you come to school. And you should be allowed to feel safe while you're at school. And your parents should be able to feel like you're safe when you're at school. And the people that are doing these things are taking that away from all of us. And we take it, as the sheriff and Dr. Parrott said, very seriously. Let me give you an idea about how seriously. This crime of making these kinds of threats, if it were committed by an adult, would carry a penalty of 15 to 25 years in prison. Think about that. That's longer than any of you all have been alive. 15 to 25 years in prison. That's the way this is viewed. When a student does this, and it can be a phone call, an email, a social media post, or saying it to someone, or as the sheriff said, writing it down on a piece of paper. Here and everywhere in this county, every single time the person is caught. Every single time. So if you do it, you're going to get caught. What happens? You're arrested. You're handcuffed. You're put in a police car. A petition is filed in juvenile court, and most likely you'll be transported to Richard L. Bean Center in Knoxville and held in the detention facility, where you can stay until your 19th birthday. We don't want to do that. We don't want to be here having to tell you these things. This isn't what we enjoy doing. We want to be protecting you. We don't want to scare you. But our concern is that you're already scared. And so we want to reassure you. We are going to do everything. The people in this building are going to do everything to protect you from the people that are making these threats. So we don't want you to be that person. We don't want anybody to be doing that. And so we're here making sure that all of our students know that 1, you're safe. 2, we're going to keep you safe. And 3, if you mess up and do something like that, we are going to hold you accountable. The students that did this week before last, they're in detention. Last week they were in juvenile court, and they were crying. They didn't realize what they were doing. They didn't realize what was going to happen to them. They didn't realize how bad it was going to be. Well, we're here to share with you. Don't be surprised. That's what's going to happen. Don't cry and tell me you didn't know, because you know now. And we're doing that. Why? Because we want to keep you safe, and we want you to feel safe. And we don't want you to be surprised. We don't want you to do this. We don't have to be enforcing these laws. We've got other things we need to do. It's kind of silly. But when we hear a phone call and hear other kids giggling in the background, when we listen to the recording of the 911 recording tape, it's clear that the kids didn't understand how serious it was. Now, to another point. Inasmuch as some of you may be scared, or this may be worrying some of you, talk to somebody. Talk to your parents, talk to your teachers, talk to your guidance counselor. We don't want you to be afraid. There's no reason for you to be afraid. We get it, and if you're afraid, that's okay, but we want to help you. We don't want you to have to feel that way. Likewise, if you or a classmate that you know are feeling a certain way where you think maybe someone's having a rough time, maybe they feel like they need some attention, and you're afraid that you or someone else might make a phone call like that or a social media post like that, please say something to someone. We would rather help that student before they get in trouble rather than to respond once they do get in trouble. All these people are here to help you. You have an entire community that wants to help you. And there's nothing wrong with needing help or feeling like you need some help. It's here for you. Just reach out. let someone know. One final point. We have had one student within the last couple of weeks that found out what we're sharing with you today, that it's a big deal if someone makes a threat of school violence. And so they didn't think it would be fun or funny to threaten school violence. They thought it would be fun or funny to report that some other student had said something about committing school violence. And so they falsely reported that another student had made a school violence threat. Well, guess what? We found that out too. So we want you to say something if you see something. Report it, don't repost it. But don't play games with that either. Don't make something up and tell on somebody because you think it'll be fun or funny to get them in trouble. None of this is fun. None of it's funny. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun. We are absolutely committed to keeping you safe. And we will do what is necessary to make that happen. That's part of the reason we're here today. We don't want you to have to be afraid. And so we need you guys to help us. Don't make those calls. Don't make those social media posts. And for God's sakes, tell somebody if you or someone else are having issues or concerns where you think that may happen. We want to help them, not punish them. You guys have been a great audience. You've listened intently. We really appreciate that. We wanted you to hear what we had to say. And I think you've done that today. So thank you. Thank you for your time and attention. Let's have a great year. Let's have a great year in school and keep it safe for all of us. Thank you all very much for your time.
Okay, guys, as you can tell, this is very serious. We are taking this very, very serious. We will continue to take this serious. And like everyone has told you, if you are scared, tell an adult, okay? Why don't we give them one more round of applause?